It's the American abroad collecting currency abroad in an undisclosed location in Europe. What are fancy serial numbers? Today I hope I can answer that question for you, and why, most importantly, should you search for fancy serial numbers? There's three main reasons. The first would be it's fun, it's free, it only costs face value, so you're basically switching out notes for notes and just holding on to them. You're saving indirectly, and it's only a small time investment, so that's really the only cost is a little bit of energy. And the most important part, why I think a lot of us are doing it, is for the extra cash or the extra premiums that we can earn by finding interesting notes. So let's get started. Fancy serial numbers. These are the, I guess you could say, holy grail ones. Let's start out with a solid serial number. An example could be any letters in the front or back, but the most important part is that they're all the same here in the middle. 8888, 8888. So it could be 77777777, and so on. The odds of finding one of those is 1 in 11,111,111. So not too likely you're going to find it. The next note, a ladder. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or you could have 7, 8, 9, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, or you could even have reverse ladders, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 9. It can be a whole bunch of different ones. The odds of finding them are 1 in about 16 million. I believe that's only ladders going upwards, but I'm not sure if that number that I calculated also includes numbers going backwards, but they're pretty rare. The closest one I've found is this note, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 4. Too bad it's not 5, 6, but those 3 2s there in the middle are not even a true ladder, because it should be, like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's the closest one I've come up with up until this time. Super radar, we have the note that I have found. An example would be 788888887. Most important part is the 6 digits in the middle are the same, and the most outer line digits are also the same. So you could have 6 and then 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 6. All kinds of different examples. The chances of finding one are 1 in 1 million. 111,111. This is my example right here. You can see it. Like I said, the 6 digits in the middle are all the same. That would be a super radar. Next one on the list, super repeater. You have JL29292929A. I have this note. I found it. It's not in the best condition. There's a big wrinkle in the middle, as you can see, but it could be any numbers here. It could be 23, 23, 23, 23, 78, 78, 78, 78. Yeah, 64, 64, 64, 64. I think you get the drift. And the chances of finding one of those are also 1 in 1,111,111. The next note that we're going to be looking at, or the next type, would be a radar repeater. I don't have any examples. I just made a couple up. You have 0440, 0440. You have 0440, 0440. So that's, first of all, a repeater. It's a radar repeater though too, because it's the same from front to back. 0440, 0440, 0440, 0440. So another example would be 8778, 8778. The 2 digits in the middle are always the same, and these 2 digits are the same, and these ones are same to the middle. So that's pretty unlikely you're going to find one, but 1 in a million. If you find one, let me know. I'm really excited to see it. I've never seen one in real life. Double quad. You have the first 4 digits are all the same, and the last 4 digits are all the same. It could also be 5555, 9999, and that chances of finding that are also 1 in roughly a million. The next note I'd like to explain to you, or the next type of fancy serial number, would be a 7 in a row. And I have this note. That would be the one you see there, MD78888888. And you can see the 7 digits can either be in the back or in the front, and they all have to be the same. So you could have, for example, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 6, or 6, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. It has to be 7 in a row. Chances of finding one of those are about roughly 1.5 million, 555,555. Next note is 7 of a kind. 7 numbers have to be the same, but they're not in a row. So I have this note. It would be 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 9, 4. You could also have 2, 7, or no, 2, 2, 2, 2, 7, 2, 2, 2. 7 numbers have to be the same, and those 7 numbers are basically kind of scrambled throughout the note, and they're not in a row. So chances of finding one of those, 138,000 roughly, almost 139,000. Okay, so we answered those big questions right there. There's still a few more to go through. The next type of note would be a fancy serial number radar. Example 55711-755. The difference here is that it's not a super radar, which means it's the difference here was, remember I showed you guys, radar repeater, Radar repeater is when they're the same going this way. So the first 4 are the same as the next 4, but you also can go front to back. Here with a radar, you can only go front to back. And I have this note that would be 55711-755. And what's interesting is that a lot of times at the end digit here, which run that was, it doesn't always match up, and this one does. So this one's F and F, and that makes it a little bit more valuable. Sometimes you'll have an A, a B, a C, a D, E, F, G, H, I, all the way, I believe, to X. And I got lucky, I found the F1. Odds of finding one of those is 1 in 10,000 roughly. The next note is a repeater. I also have one of those. Here's a repeater. And that's when the first 4 digits are the same as the next 4 digits. 6039, 6039. So that's an interesting one. Also 1 in 10,000. And like I said, radar, repeater, radar front to back, repeater, same 4, or the next 4 digits are the same as the first 4 digits, but that radar repeater is a lot more difficult to find because the 2 digits have to be the same in the middle, and then the other 2 digits have to be the same. It's very, very difficult to find. Next one would be a low serial number. 1 to 999 is what most collectors consider low serial numbers. On eBay, I write eBay LOL because on eBay you see a lot of people who say, like, if it's 000 and then digits, it's a low serial number. If just the first 2 digits are 00, it's a low serial number. No, it's generally considered that 1 to 999, anything under 1,000. And I have one, that's the only one I've ever found, 755, not in the best shape, but I'm holding on to it until I find something better. Flipper notes, I have one here, 069-68618. You can flip it around and you can still read numbers, 819899690. And some sample notes usually command small premiums on Facebook, on eBay, unless they're binary or they have one of the above characteristics, like it's a radar or repeater, with it being also a flipper note. So flippers aren't necessarily extra money per se, unless maybe you find a couple of them and maybe sell them as a group. They usually have to have some kind of other characteristics to be worth more. The next note would be a birthday note. Let's show you this one. 1987-0505, May 5th, 1987. I write sort of there because for me, only birthday notes are truly how it's written here, which would be November 1st, 1993, 1101-1993. You could look at it also as the European style, how they do birthdays and how they do dates, the 11th of January, 1993. Those are even more interesting because you can sell them to a European market or to a US market. But I only consider these ones birthday notes. I kept this one as an example because you don't find really either of the two that often. So the next type would be Starr notes, low print runs. I have one right here, 640,000. And this is a run from 320,000. I have a couple other ones from 150,000, 160,000. Anything 640 and under is considered rare. Air notes, this might be an air, I still haven't decided. It has kind of a stain here, might have been from a die pack explosion, or might actually be a mistake from the printing process. It looks pretty similar, I'm not sure. And let's show you the last couple ones here. That would be a quad double on top. So you have 55334400. You could have 88662211. Those don't show up too often, and they usually command a little bit of a premium. Personal interest, I have this note 612. It's a it's not even a trinary, but it's my former area code, so I picked up that one. I like that one. And I missed one on the other side here, or maybe I forgot to write it down, but there's binaries. Binaries are here, and binaries are about 1 in 8,000. You can only have two numbers, so 25555 222, just two numbers in the note, and those are about 1 in 8,000. So some of the other things you might want to consider collecting are older series notes. Take into consideration condition. If they're a Starr note, are they from a low print run? Are they a fancy serial number? Do they belong to one of the groups I just showed you? Are there any error or errors on the note? Some good forums in case you have questions, or in case you want to share information or share your notes with other people. It could be Coin Talk, Coin Community, or YouTube. And if you ever need help with Starr note information, you can go to My Currency Collection and then enter this into Google, My Currency Collection, Starr note, look up reference. So I want to show you one last thing here, a little bit of a collection that I put together. You don't see these too often anymore. And just gonna pan across here real quickly. This is my small collection here that I have amassed and put together. You have different series ones. They're not from the same series, but they're the older small portrait style, all in pretty decent shape. And this would be, I always call it the middle series. And that would be here from about 1996 to about 2003, I think they printed these. So those are what I like to collect is older series notes that are in great condition. You can look for them in your change, look for them at the bank, collect what you guys like to collect. So, and you might also find some of these if you're lucky. Some older ones, 1985, or an older 20 from 1950. It even looks different compared to these notes over here because it has some different engraving and some lettering. A 10, or some red seal United States notes, or even some blue seal silver certificates. So I just want to show you guys real quickly here what to look out for. I hope this video made sense, and thank you for watching. I hope that you guys are finding really interesting notes. If you have any questions, shoot me a question. I'll try to answer it. Otherwise, you might have to go to one of those forums to ask it there. Thanks a lot, guys, and I appreciate your views. Thanks.